Good morning and welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Vicki Green. So just think about this for a minute. Is there someone you've had in your life when you were a child or a teen that you looked up to or that you could go to if you had a question and didn't feel like asking your parents? Well, I know I did. At the time, I may not have called that person a mentor because we didn't have programs with that official title. But this month in Massachusetts and other states around the country is National Mentoring Month. And we're here to talk about an important social services organization, LUK Inc., that has sites in several locations in our listening area, Fitchburg, Worcester, Webster, Boylston. And joining me today to talk about an important event that they have coming up for the mentoring program at LUK Inc. is Hillary Amity. So thank you very much for joining me this morning. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to talk about this. So first, can you explain what LUK Inc. is for the folks that don't know? We have so many social services organizations. And again, we're here to talk about the mentoring program. But can you give me a little, give us a little descriptive of what LUK Inc. is as an organization?
Sure. So first of all, I like to explain what LUK stands for because a lot of people don't know what LUK is. So LUK stands for Let Us Know. And that's because back in 1970, the agency was started by a couple of Vista volunteers in the basement of a church in Fitchburg, which is no longer there. And it was, let us know what your problems are, let us know how we can help you. And then from that small group of volunteers to today, we've grown from, 5 or 6 volunteers to an agency that employs approximately 250 people. And as you said earlier, we have offices in 4 different places. So it's grown a lot. And LUK has always been around to serve the communities and the kids especially that live in our area. So we do foster care. We have residential programs for kids who have been taken out of the home to stabilize them. We do all kinds of counseling. And we do lots of things, so I know I'm gonna forget somebody, but we do prevention programs. So we have youth development. We do prevention of underage drinking and other addictive substances.
And you serve quite a number of kids over the years. The number, I don't have it in front of me, but it's in the many thousands and thousands of kids over the years. And Vista, just so people understand, wasn't that the precursor to AmeriCorps?
AmeriCorps, sure.
Right, just so that people that don't know what Vista is. So the story that we hear of so many social services organizations, and we've had many on the show, is that they start small and by a group of small, passionate people. And then they bring in larger groups of passionate people, and it grows into really serving these kids. So let's talk about this big event that's coming up. It's on Valentine's Day.
It is.
So, hey, you can make a date of it if you want to go to this. I'm thinking about it. It's at Great Wolf Lodge in Fitchburg, and it's called the 6th Annual Kids at Heart Gala. So why don't you tell us a little bit about, this is for the LUK Inc. Mentoring Program.
Correct.
Which you are the coordinator of. So this is your big event of the year.
It is.
And this helps fund the great program that we're going to talk about and why you need the money. So tell us a little bit about the event.
Sure. So, as you said, it's on Valentine's Day this year. We usually have it during that week, and this year it just happened to be Valentine's Day. So, if you love Valentine's Day, you can go and celebrate Valentine's Day. Or if you don't like Valentine's Day, you can still go and have a good time.
Who doesn't like Valentine's Day? Wait a minute.
We have some anti-Valentiners out there. So
really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I never thought about if you're single, I am. It doesn't bother me either way. But I guess, there's always somebody who doesn't like something. So that's fair.
But it's still a fun night for anyone who wants to go. We have a cocktail hour, a silent and live auctions, a plated dinner, a DJ, and a program. We have some great auction items, both in the silent auction and the live auction. And it raises money for our program. We survive on grants and fundraising. So this is our big push to fund our program and be able to serve more kids.
Yeah, and you get a lot of money. I mean, 2 years ago I saw it was 42, and then as we were talking before the show, you were saying last year was around 52.
52.
So what are you hoping for this year?
So our goal this year is
$60,000. And where does that money go? So people listening understand the impact that money, every dollar has.
Sure. So it comes right back to the mentoring program, which allows us to recruit more mentors. It allows us to provide some activities for our mentees and mentors to do together. And just support the matches once they're matched.
Okay, so how else do you receive funding for this program? Because I didn't even realize until I did my research before talking to you that the state has this mass mentoring partnership, which gives money and it helps with training. And do you get federal money, federal grants?
So federal grants are hard to come by. Federal money has dried up over the years, especially for small programs like ours. But we have been very lucky this year to be one of 7 agencies nationwide to receive some federal funding for the mentoring program.
One of 7?
One of 7.
Wow.
So being one of 7 out of just a standalone program. So the federal money for this grant is to serve kids who have been impacted by opioids in some way. So meaning they've had a parent who has had an opioid addiction, or if they've known somebody in their family, friends, relatives, and finding mentors for them to help them get through that experience better.
Yeah. Now, how did you get involved in LUK? Because I didn't realize till before, we were talking about before the show, that you used to be a Big Brother, Big Sister. So you've always obviously had this something in the gut, because I find people in social services, everybody's got a compassion and passion for what they do. So how did you get involved with Big Brother and then continue on to do the mentoring program? It's not an easy job to keep all of these things in relationships in check. I know that.
So I've worked almost my entire career in nonprofits, and I was at a Big Brother, Big Sister agency for 13 years, left for a while, and then decided to come back to the nonprofit world and found they needed a mentoring coordinator at LUK, and I've been there now for 14 years. So mentoring is something I really love to do. I think it's really nice to see the impact that it has on the kids and see them grow. We actually have had, at LUK, we've had a mentee who became a mentor, and she also interned with us last semester as a college student, and has been paired up with a couple mentees as a mentor. So it's been really fun to see her grow and be more passionate about mentoring as well. It's just fun. It's a lot of work, but my days are never the same.
There you go. And it's got to be satisfying, right?
It is satisfying.
I mean, not every, how is it, because I'm thinking same as Big Brother, Big Sister, in the sense that, not every relationship, not every match works. But why don't we talk about, first of all, so people aren't confused, how is this different than Big Brother, Big Sister's matchup? How do you differ?
So we're very similar to Big Brothers Big Sisters. I think some of the differences are the area that we serve. So we serve Central Mass, and we do have some crossover towns. But up in the northern Central Mass, like the Fitchburg, Leominster area, there really aren't any other community mentoring programs up there. And that's where we really started and then expanded down south. But and the age range, we serve kids 6 to 17. So it's a little bit of an older age range than some other programs serve. And because we have so many different programs at LUK, we're able to maybe refer kids who might need a little bit more to another service that LUK might provide. So we may refer them to counseling or another program that we think would benefit them.
Right. So in other words, I think it's a larger social services network. Big Brother, Big Sister is a wonderful organization with more of a honed focus, whereas the mentoring program is one program in LUK. How many people are currently matched up? How many kids?
We have about 65 kids right now that are matched up to mentors. And that's both community and a couple of site-based programs that we have as well.
Okay, so that obviously means there's 65 mentors and 65 mentees. How does it break up female to male? Because we always hear that it's much tougher to get men for whatever reason, or male college students. What's the age you have to be 18 and above for LUK?
To be a mentor, you need to be 18 and older, yes.
Okay, so we have plenty of college kids in the area, but I always hear from everybody that, and is it true in your program too, that you can always use good mentors, but it seems like the male population it's tougher to get male mentors of any age.
Yes, and I think that's that's nationwide in all mentoring programs. That seems to be an issue. I know when we we go for trainings or workshops, that's always a question that comes up. Who has some great new ideas about how to recruit men for the mentoring program? We get more boys referred to the program than girls, and we have more women that volunteer than men. So it's always an imbalance. I would say that we probably have about a third of our matches are male and 2/3 are probably female matches.
And then you do match, in some cases, as long as it's been okayed by everyone involved, you do match, let's say, a male student with a female mentor.
We do. We sometimes, most of our boys do want a male mentor,
Right.
but in the cases where a young boy doesn't really care what kind of, if he has a male or a female mentor, we will do a cross-gender match. And we found that that works really well for the boys who are open to that relationship.
So did you have a mentor growing up?
So I think I was lucky growing up. I had a very stable, family life. I had a couple favorite aunts that I had and a couple of teachers that helped me out along the way, a Girl Scout leader. So I think I was very, very lucky to have, the natural mentoring relationships that some of our kids don't have.
And I think, though, would you agree that it's a misnomer? Sometimes people might think that it's always kids in trouble that enroll in the program. Yeah, there are plenty of kids that have family issues at home, but everybody can use a mentor. I mean, we hear about it from everybody all across the state, the country. I mean, I was reading about Governor Baker. There's the Mass Mentoring Partnership, which I said earlier that I didn't know much about. But Governor Baker, which I didn't know, was a big brother for so many years that he ended up staying in touch with his little, as he called it, for so long that he ended up being the best man in his little's wedding. And he's been quoted as saying that. And I didn't know that. I mean, so no matter how busy you are, as a man, I think men, maybe, I don't know why more women, you could make a case many ways for that. Mm-hmm. But if we want men to do it, what's the time constraint? Because some folks, male and female, say, geez, I'm working, I have my own family, I don't really have time. What about men that are retired or men that don't have kids? Or, what's the time commitment?
So the time commitment, it's a minimum of 1 hour a week. So I think if we all really look pretty hard, we can find an extra hour that we have in our schedules. I would say most mentors probably spend more like 2 to 3 hours a week with their mentee. But if you have a really crazy busy week and that's all you have is an hour, that is perfectly fine. It's more about the consistency and just being there is, more. That's what the kids want. Just spending any kind of time with their mentor. So if it's, let's go grab a bite to eat and come run some errands with me 1 week, that's fine. If you have more time, then you can find some other activity that you like to do.
Now, what about training? Like, say somebody's listening and they want to be a mentor. We'll give out the information at the end of the show. But for LUK, how do you go about training folks if, once they've gone, there's an application they have to fill out, right? And they have to go through a COI background check and all those things, just like a teacher or a parent that has to chaperone,
Correct.
same thing. But what kind of training do they receive when they decide that they want to do this?
So when folks first call in, and ask about the program, I explain what the commitment is and what the process is. And then I invite them to come in for an interview. So I sit down with them and I'm able to answer any more questions about the program that they have. And then I ask them a lot of questions to find out about them. So, finding out about what they like to do, what their schedules are, what, kind of a mentee would they feel comfortable being paired up with. So we talk a lot about those things. And then we do invite them in for training that goes through, some of our rules and guidelines, but also what to do in certain situations. And we go through common problems and how to build good relationships. We talk about building assets in kids.
What would be an example of building an asset in a kid?
So that's actually one of our big pushes this year is the 40 developmental assets are 40 things that kids need to grow up to be healthy, contributing adults. So it's really like all the good stuff that kids need to keep them away from the bad stuff. So ways that mentors can help are to pass on what they know, whether it's, making them more interested in academics and education, to finding more activities that they like to do, maybe helping them find what they're really passionate about, building self-confidence. There's so many things that mentors just pass along without even realizing it. So one of the things that we're doing at the Gala this year is highlighting what the 40 developmental assets are. So because it's on Valentine's Day, I knew that we were not going to get a florist to donate the centerpieces this year.
Or if you were there, it's going to be very expensive.
Right. So, and we've been really lucky in the past. We have so many people that just donate their services. So, we decided to make our own centerpieces this year, and
Wow.
And have like all the different kinds of assets there are in painted wine bottles on the tables. So that was a big project.
Give me 2 assets.
Empowerment, and self-esteem.
Yeah, that's important. And I think, so you must have, we were talking before the show, there's something that surprised me about the length. People are worried about time commitment. And then what if you get attached? And where's that role of, where do you draw the line between being too available? Because I've talked in the past when I had Big Brother, Big Sisters in months ago, that I had been a big sister for 1 year. And I fell into, I don't know if you call it a trap, but something that I guess is fairly common when people start out and are younger, that, in my college days, that I felt guilty. I felt like I had to spend money. I felt like the girl that I was matched with was wonderful and she wasn't asking for anything. But I thought, well, she never gets to go to a movie, or her parents never take her out to dinner because they just don't have money, so I'm going to do it. And then I realized, thinking, well, wait a minute, where do I draw the line between mentor and best friend? Is there a line?
I think there's a boundary that is good to keep. But I mean, the ultimate goal in a relationship is friendship. So looking at, the time commitment and then the financial commitment, part of our training focuses on doing things that are low cost to no cost, because money doesn't have anything to do with friendship. So part of our training, we give tons of examples of activities to do. And I always tell our mentors that are just starting out, do the low cost, no cost activities in the beginning that are going to allow time for you to talk. So you're not going to take your mentee to a movie on your first outing, because what are you doing? You're sitting there quietly watching a movie. There's no interaction.
Yeah.
So doing things like taking a walk, maybe grabbing an ice cream, or, just talking, hiking, things like that, to encourage conversation. We do have, some special activities that we're able to give tickets for some of our matches, and we tell mentors to make sure that the kids know that, this isn't coming out of your pocket, and it's fine to talk about, you have a budget and you can't always do expensive things.
Yeah, I think people are concerned about not only time commitment, but financial commitment in some cases, and we don't want to hold that back. And it's funny because you talked about your mentors, and back when I was a kid, I called mine positive role models.
Sure.
Because when I was getting my information ready to talk to you today, I was thinking about all of the positive role models that I had in my life. Not in my family, because, what if a lot of kids, especially as a teenage girl, I didn't want to talk to my mom about or my father about certain things, no matter whether it's you have money, don't have money, it doesn't matter. I mean, emotion is emotion. And I had a friend's mother that played a very large part in my life, because I always felt comfortable going over there and talking to her. And at least I had someone who could, wasn't my mother, but a mother figure. I mean, my mother was there, but, I had someone I could go to. And then career-wise, you hear about this all the time. And for me, I still follow my mentor today. I don't talk to her as often as I do, and she's very well known in television. which was my first career goal early on, and learned so much from her just, for 6 months of interning and being willing to talk to me. And it wasn't anything official. I mean, I was her intern, but it went beyond that. I could ask her about anything, about how she got involved, and she would just talk to me about things like when she was not feeling self-confident, and how she, if I was having a day and she looked at me and said, "Vicky, you having a tough day?" I mean, this is someone who took time out of her day as a big reporter in Boston at the time, and asked me and said, "Are you having a bad day? What can I do? Let's talk about this." And if I ever doubted myself, I could say to her, "You know what? Maybe am I cut out for this? Am I not cut out for this?" And she would give me her feedback. That's all I wanted. I didn't want lunch. I didn't care about whether I got paid to be her intern. I was learning everything, not just about how to be a good journalist and a strong journalist and a smart journalist, which I believe she is, very, but also how to live your life. It's not just about the career, but how you work career and home, and basic things like self-confidence and things like that. And again, I was not from an urban area. I was not someone who had problems with substance abuse or parents, thankfully, that did, but I needed someone to go to. So again, in your organization, not every kid is someone that's identified as coming from an opioid, family. There's plenty of kids, right, that just need that extra help.
Yeah, I mean, we have. I let mentors or potential mentors know that we have any kind of kids that's out there. We have. So some of our kids come from maybe, a family and they have multiple siblings and single parent home, and the mom just she's not able to spend one-on-one time with all of her kids. Or there may be kids in a family that need more attention, maybe kids with some kind of medical issue, or kids on the autism spectrum, or things like that, where a parent has to spend and give more time to that child. And then there's this one child that doesn't get any individual attention. So we have families where the parent will say, "You know what? This child receives so many services, and my other daughter doesn't receive any." So we have a lot of kids that fall into that category too. There are also kids living with grandparents, or other relatives that they're functioning pretty okay, but really just need that extra support to help them get by.
Okay.
And I let mentors know they're not parent or guardian replacements. They're there as an additional support for the good job that parent is already doing.
So you must have a story that sticks out in your mind in the last few minutes here of a mentee saying to you, there's something just very, or even the length of time. You were telling me about a pair that had been together for how long?
I believe they've been together for like 8 years now. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So that's actually one that's been successful, and you follow up, right? In the first,
we do,
with to make sure that it's going okay. And
yes.
You talk to the mentors, you talk to the mentees. So if a mentor has an issue, they can talk to you.
Correct.
Right. Okay. So I found this quote, and I thought, and you hadn't heard it, which was interesting. So I'm going to read it because you never know who's heard it or not. But everybody knows who Denzel Washington is, I believe. The wonderful actor. He talks about the impact of mentoring, and this is his quote. "Show me a successful individual, and I'll show you someone who had real positive influences in his or her life. I don't care what you do for a living. If you do it well, I'm sure there was someone cheering you on or showing the way. A mentor," unquote. And that's Denzel Washington. So, I mean, everybody needs a mentor, and that's why we're here to talk to you. And again, if people are interested, we've got two ends of the spectrum of people listening here. If people want to get tickets, first of all, to the Kids at Heart Gala, which is coming up on Valentine's Day at Great Wolf Lodge in Fitchburg, how do they go about getting information about the event? Or if they have something to donate or their employer might want to donate?
They can email us at LUKGala@LUK.org, or they can go to our website, which is LUK.org.
LUK.org. LUK. It's not Luke. It's LUK. LUK.org.
Yep.
Very easy.
And there's a banner at the top that they can click on that, which will direct them right to our auction website, where they can buy a ticket. They can register, because this is a paperless auction. So even people who can't make it to the gala could also just register and bid. It's all mobile. Everyone uses their cell phones. You can register, pick your food, and start bidding. Bidding is open now.
I'm going to have to check. I haven't checked out. I didn't think the auction items would be up there yet. So you don't even have to be at the event to purchase an auction item.
You don't have to. We would love you to be there. But if you can't, then you can bid online for everything but our balloon pops or our live items.
Okay. So let's flip it the other way. If somebody's involved and they think they know a family friend, a child, or they have someone in their family who they think would benefit from a mentor, there may not be anything academically wrong, or just the child might need confidence boost, or there may be bigger issues. If they have a child that they wanted to refer to the program, can they go right to the LUK.org website for that too?
They can go to that website, or they can call our 800 number, which is 800-579-0000, and ask for central referral.
So can they go to the website and find central referral?
They can.
Okay. Just because the phone number is hard to get.
Sure.
But they can go to LUK.org and find the central referral and just, say I have a child that may be interested.
Correct.
And then you go out and you give them a call and you talk to the child.
Correct.
So now if somebody wants to be a mentor, which we hope somebody listening will do, and if you're female, male, I'm going to appeal to the men here, or the women who might have a male brother, sister, cousin, uncle, husband that has time. 1 hour a week. Where do they go? They go to LUK.org, same thing, and they can find the mentor application.
They can find us that way, or they can just email mentoring@LUK.org, and that will come to me as well.
Oh, that's easy. Mentoring@LUK.org is the email. Okay. All right. Well, I'm so excited about this event, and I love talking about this, and I hope my guest today, Hillary Amity, who's the mentoring program coordinator at LUK Inc., which is extremely well known, particularly in the northern central Mass, Fitchburg area, but I've known about them being in Worcester for 25 years. So, everybody's looking for dollars these days. It's not easy. We know that, and I'm sure your organization knows that, but anybody that knows of somebody that needs help, needs a mentor, wants to be a mentor, I've been considering it again, but I want to make sure before I do it, just like anybody, that I know all the details, and I looked at the application, to be honest, because I wanted to make sure if I was interested in doing it, what the time commitment was and what the financial commitment was. So that, now that I'm much older than I was in college and wiser, I want to make sure that if I commit to it, that I can do it. And I hope somebody listening will commit and, or at least turn out for the event, because Great Wolf Lodge, if anybody hasn't been there, is fun. It's a fun place. You're not there to go on the water slides that night necessarily.
Right.
But you're there to have a good time. So it sounds like a great event, and I'm hoping people will turn out and go to LUK.org for information. If you know someone that wants to be a mentor or a child that can be a mentee, mentees can be age 6 to 17. So that's a big deal. And if you want to be a mentor, it can be 18 and above. So thank you, Hillary, for coming in today. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
This is great. I love talking about this topic. And, it's such an important program providing solace and hope to kids in what can be a tumultuous time in their lives, no matter what their background or family is. I think that's the point. So thank you. Hillary Amity, Mentoring Program Coordinator at LUK Inc. Please check out the program and consider becoming a mentor. That's Community Conversations. I'm Vicki Green. Have a wonderful day.